Good day, ladies and gentlemen, your gun doctor here. You don't know what gun to play in Season 4? No problem. We're making a tier list with all the assault rifles in Season 4, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, and so on. Right now, we're going to focus on the assault rifles. I'm going to tell you which guns are good, which guns are bad, sniper support, long range, what is special about them. And then I'm also going to be presenting you loadouts after we made the tier list so you know how to go for this. Timestamps are as always in the description below. Just jump to where you would like to be, what you find interesting. And now let's straight up start making that tier list. Let's look at the long range beaming first. We have quite some candidates there. Right now, everyone is kind of playing the Fara with the 608 milliseconds time to kill. The good thing about the Fara, though, is that the Fara might not have the best time to kill, but it's extremely forgiving with 2 headshots, and then the rest of the shots can land wherever on the body. That is super cool. So you can hit 2 headshots, and then you can hit the arms or the legs as many times as you want for 608 milliseconds time to kill. If you do compare that, for example, to the AK47 Cold War, which can do a 500 milliseconds time to kill, you do need to hit 4 chest shots and 2 headshots. And if you do hit arms and legs, that actually drops your time to kill tremendously. Still, both guns are absolutely viable. The AK47 Cold War is extremely good as sniper support and as long range. Both work tremendously well on it. It has a 500 milliseconds time to kill close and a 500 milliseconds time to kill long. The Fara, for example, when it comes to the time to kill as a sniper support, yes, it's still viable, but I wouldn't say that it is the best sniper support option. There are way better to go for. So Fara long range because of the 0 recoil, yes, definitely worth it and absolutely top tier viable. The Krig might have 0 recoil, but in comparison to other guns that are also absolute beamers right now, the Krig kind of falls off. So it can definitely be played, but I wouldn't put it as top tier meta. The Xm4 can definitely keep up with the Fara. The Xm4 is kind of the Fara, just in different, more or less same time to kill. The only advantage of the Xm4 is that it's also extremely good as a sniper support gun, where the Fara is kind of hampered a little bit through the reload and the movement speed. The Xm4 really does not have that problem. Both are 0 recoil guns, but the Xm4 does work a little bit better there. So I'm going to put that also on strongest meta. Then we do have the Ram7. I would put the Ram7 as can compete off meta. I kind of want to put it strongest meta. But if we're looking at it, the Ram7 only has a 631 milliseconds time to kill. The good thing is you can mount it and then beam with it for really crazy distances. And the Ram7 can be used as a sniper support too. But the Ram7 has the standard problem that all the Modern Warfare guns have. You can't build them on movement speed as good as the Cold War guns. I mean, in the Cold War guns, you have the Tiger Team Spotlight, the Bruiser Grip, and you can just zoom away like crazy. Whereas with the Ram7, yes, you can make kind of compromise, but it will never be as good as SMG versions or sniper support versions of Cold War guns. Therefore, can compete, but not top tier meta. If we're looking at the M13 here, for example, nope. 741 milliseconds time to kill on range, and that's already the optimal time to kill where you mix in 1 or 2 headshots. And then as sniper support, technically yes, but practically same problem with the Ram7 on movement. Good thing though is the 37 meters effective damage range, but I would put that away. Same goes kind of for the Grau, the QBZ, the Kilo, and the AN94. The Kilo is not bad, but the 3rd damage valve just puts it out. All these red guns here, I would not play them right now because they're better guns that can do, for example, the Krig can do what the Kilo does. And the Krig has a 644 milliseconds time to kill. Can do everything the Kilo does, just better. So if we're looking at that, QBZ, nope. M13, nope. AN94, ain't happening. Grau, out of the meta. Kilo, out of the meta. Krig, I kind of want to put it strongest meta, but they're just, the Fara is kind of like the Krig, but just does everything better. The only advantage of the Krig is that it has a lower fire rate and therefore can be a better pinpoint precision beamer. So I put it in can compete off meta, but I wouldn't put it like top tier viable because it is good, but it's not like the craziest of them all. The FAL is an insanely good gun, but the problem with the FAL is that it's solo fire. So you get therefore, I would put the FAL in memes niche. It has an insane time to kill in both close quarter combat and long range. It's kind of one of the best guns in the game. Has insane damage. You hit like 2 headshots, 1 chest shot, someone is down. You hit 5 chest shots, someone is dead. You hit 1 chest shot and then 1 shot wherever on the body. And it's a 383 milliseconds time to kill close quarter up and personal. It can be an absolute menace. But again, if you miss that 1 headshot, then we're talking about a shitty time to kill already. So you're relying on 1 headshot at least to be really good, perfect tracking, and the problem often is once your tracking is off, The rest of the shots are also not going to hit because you have to click down at the same time keep the tracking up. On long range, it's a little bit easier, but you're still going to be more spray and pray than you're actually going to be pinpoint precision. Technically a 4-shot to kill, which works really good on these 30, 40, 50 meter distances. But after these distances, that's more spray and pray DMR style, like and hope that you actually hit or not. Therefore, it will always be memes and niche. It will never be top tier viable, strongest meta. It can compete with every single gun. It can beat every single gun. But you'll just like, memeing, niching with it. Niching means that there's like, you only play this. This is your training ground. This is where you're going crazy. How does the AK47 Modern Warfare hold up? It's very interesting with the AK47 Modern Warfare. On long range, it has the same time to kill as others, or close time to kill with 550 milliseconds, but it's just not that easy to control. This is a very possible time to kill, as the AK Cold Wars is, with 2 headshots and 4 body shots. But realistically, the recoil is just harder to control than something that the XM4 or the Fara has to offer. So beaming with the AK-47 Modern Warfare ain't happening. But sniper support, the TDK of 550 looks bad here. If we're looking at the actual AK, and that would be the AK with the special ammunition Modern Warfare, it has a 451 milliseconds time to kill, close quarter up and personal, up to 25 meters, really good. So as a sniper support gun, this is probably one of the best sniper support guns because it really has zero recoil, good movement, special zooming. We have a whole YouTube video on that. So it is, as a sniper support gun, top tier viable, but as a long range gun, kind of possible, but So for me, it definitely would land and can compete off meta in the sniper support category. The Amax has been always good, but right now I don't see a single reason to use it anymore. You can play the Amax Close Quarter Combat UB. The problem with the Amax Close Quarter Combat UB, you do rely on 2 headshots for 476 milliseconds time to kill. So as a sniper support, yes, I do see it possible. But again, in comparison to the Cold War guns, movement speed, ADS time, all these issues trying to mitigate to then have a decent recoil on something that then also moves fast, the guns from Cold War just dominate. So there's almost no reason to use a Modern Warfare gun ever as sniper support again. On long range, it can shoot 8-shot time to kill, but it's just not as good as others here up and personal. So I'd say the Amax is still viable and you can still play in, but it's more like because you love it and it's not because there are actual good reasons to dominate within. The AS-VAL has always been insane. 407 milliseconds time to kill close up, 542 on range. 542 on range will obviously never be achieved. The AS-VAL is only a sniper support gun. That is it. And even in the sniper support category, it's kind of like, do you play with scope? Do you play without scope? The bullet velocity kind of holds it back. The low magazine holds it back. So in solos, absolutely top tier viable, and duos still good. In trios and quads, I wouldn't actually touch it that much. Even if you play with sleight of hand, it kind of doesn't feel like it. So I'm not a huge fan of the AS-VAL in that regard, because even with sleight of hand, the reload feels extremely low. For example, the AK-545 has also only 30 bullets, but the AK has what, like a 1 second reload time? It goes click, 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 click. It's so fast. It's crazy. The AS-VAL for me often lands in viable or can compete. So these two categories, I would kind of put it in, because again, in solos, it's the absolute super meta. In solos, you kind of want to play in. In trios and quads, it's kind of like, In duos, it's can compete. So kind of putting like here on viable, and that's if you want to play it, you want to play it. But there are other options that really have more movement speed, better recoil, they're more pinpoint precision. The AS-VAL, though, in solos might be your #1 choice regardless still. Looking at the actual M4, 667 milliseconds time to kill. That's not that bad. But if we now think about how is the M4 recoil on distance compared to the Krig 6 or, for example, the Fara, and the Cold War guns, they don't just have any recoil. As a sniper support gun, you can still play it. It has a 519 milliseconds time to kill, and you can really build like something very interesting. There's also a hipfire built with the M4. So the M4 definitely has a viability somewhere. It can be built in 4 different ways: sniper support, full SMG, hipfire SMG, long range to the compensator. So there are many ways you can play the M4, and on controller, it also performs extremely well. The FR5.56 falls under do not play for me. Yes, I know you can single fire spam this, but there was a time to kill calculation mistake on JGod's side. He said it also in his one video, so it's not as good as people make it to be. The C58 sniper support, yes. Long range, yes. In both cases, the C58 is absolutely insane. Sometimes the fire rate holds it back, but all in all, the gun is just top tier viable and an absolute clapper. Another niche gun would be the Oden. The Oden can compete with everything as a sniper support, which you're not going to play because one single shot missed and your time to kill drops by 200 milliseconds roughly. And on long range, it's absolutely insane. The problem with the Oden is the fire rate, the recoil, and obviously the limit of bullets. It is viable, but let's be fair, the Oden, as much as I love it and I want to put it here, it is memes and niche. They're Oden specialists like me that play this gun a lot, and they're clapping hard with it. They're sending jimmies left and right back to the lobby. But all in all, the Oden is kind of... Can you still play the FFAR? The FFAR 533 close up. I would not play it as a sniper support gun. It feels sluggish. It feels bad with the ADS time. On range, it's 600 milliseconds. And yes, you can kind of make it work, but it's in the position where you never want to fight with it over 100 meters. So it can really beam super hard. It's super fun to play. I would say it's viable, but nowhere can compete with strongest meta. So you can have fun with it, and it can beat current meta guns, but it's kind of like hold back by other things. The Scar is quite crazy. 524 milliseconds time to kill. The Scar is super strong, especially the headshots count a lot. And then you need 2 headshots and 4 body shots for 524 milliseconds time to kill. And even if you add one more shot, you're at 628. So even if you would hit a 7-shot to kill, you're very good up to go. I would not play it as sniper support because you kind of rely on the 2 headshots to anywhere get a realistic time to kill running. Therefore, we're more or less going here for 524 in range. That is really, really good. The Scar does an insanely nice job there, and I would definitely give it a can compete off meta. The problem is it's limited by the ammunition. Solos, duos, fine. Trios, quads, also fine. You just have to be sure that you crouch and mount everywhere. So it's kind of like can compete off meta and viable. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think the Scar is underestimated, but you really have to play it to get used to it. Last but not least, we do have the Groza, and the Groza is in a very interesting spot. It's a super good sniper support gun. Long range beamer, I really haven't tried it out. The problem here as a long range beamer with the Groza is that you have the damage fall off on tummy, arms, and legs. That doesn't fall into place that much in close quarter combat. You can have a realistic 7-shot to kill. This is absolutely easy to achieve, especially with the Einsight and the super movement speed. On long range, 2-7, and then you have a damage fall off again. It's kind of like very harsh to keep it on point on range. I will give it more tries, but the Groza for me, I would like to put it can compete as a sniper support, viable as a long range gun. So if you want to play it, sniper support is definitely can compete off meta with all the current strongest guns. If you want to play it long range, then that's where the Groza goes right now. Now let me show you loadouts for all these guns that you know how to actually build them, how to play them, and how to enjoy them. Let's start with the strongest meta guns first. We have the Fara 83 as long range and the Xm4 as long range. Fara is a very easy build. I'm going for the Spasnos RPK barrel. I'm playing the field agent grip. I've been doing some testing with a recoil, and after 50 meters, you do want to have the Spasnos grip. I'm not saying that the gun is not a pinpoint precision laser beamer without it, but you do have some horizontal deviation that you don't feel, but it's existently there. So there is sometimes where you miss bullets and you're like, I'm on the target. Why am I missing bullets? And that is because of the horizontal deviation, especially when you used to be shooting this very long ranges. After 50 meters, it really falls into place. You want to have the 45 round mag because the ADS time penalty is quite huge. I'm playing this with the actual armor 3 times because the 4 times wibble wobble's a little bit too much on this gun. And then last but not least, I do play this with a suppressor because the fire rate is very consistent. It's not taka taka bang bang, taka taka bang bang. So with the suppressor, you do have a better ADS time. Your bullet velocity is still good, and you can whip this also easily out on 20, 30, 40 meters, depending on what gun you actually pair this with, to then be even able to beam better. And yes, you don't need the bonus of effective damage range. You have good effective damage range. You don't need the bonus of vertical recoil because, again, there is no vertical recoil on this. The Xm4 is kind of similar but different. Task Force, it starts. You don't need a field agent grip on this one because the horizontal deviation is non-existent. Therefore, we can go for the 3 times with the 45 round mag. Then we can put an airborne elastic to get an even better ADS time and also swap on the suppressor. If you kind of feel like that this gun feels weird for you, that might be because the first recoil, the first 4 bullets is quite harsh. The agency suppressor makes the first 4 bullets feel a little bit better, so you might want to go for that. But with the suppressor and the airborne elastic, if you whip this out on 20 meters, you have the ADS time of an SMG feelingly. So this is very aggressive in the early mid ranges, but also extremely good in the long ranges with enough bullet velocity to just clap jimmies left and right. Then we have the Cold War AK and the C58. The C58 is an absolute laser. There's no front grip needed. We're going for the task force here. Also suppressor because consistent recoil. But there's no first 4 bullets or something. You have the 45 round drum mag, airborne elastic wrap, and then most important, the axial 3 arms. And the very good thing about this gun is in the first damage range up to 40 meters, it can have this insane 5-shot to kill. And we know 40 meters is quite something that you fight at. Then with the insane ADS time of airborne elastic and suppressor, they walk up to you. Let's say you're on top of a building, they push your building 40 meters, easy peasy, bam, 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 bam. Just go 2 headshots, 3 body shots, someone is down. 3 headshots, 1 body shot, someone's down. It's crazy how hard this gun can actually shred and get bit jimmies down. If we're looking for the AK, here it comes down that you actually do need the Groza suppressor because the AK is taka bang, taka bang, taka bang. It kind of flies out of your hands. So we really want to minimize the distance between the recoils. Therefore, I go for Groza suppressor, Spasnos RPK. We're having the 45 round drum mag. Then we're playing it with the actual 3 arms. And when it comes down to the AK-47, I'm always torn because it does not have the huge horizontal bounds. But if I then still played on range, I do tremendously prefer having the Spasnos grip to make it just feel perfect. Because the recoil is quite significant and you want to get your shots on point. So for me, I do need the grip. If you never plan to fire this over 100 meters, you could also play this with Groza elastic wrap. Or if you play this in solos, you could easily go for Spasnos grip plus Groza elastic wrap with only 30 bullets because you need such low bullets to kill. Plus, you have an insane fast reload time. For the can compete off meta, we have the Krig as a long range and the AK47 Modern Warfare as sniper support. Krig long range falls into the category of these guns that are also having the advantage of having consistent recoil. And also it's taka, which is straight up. That gets taken care of easily by the actual 3 arms and the mil spec. For this, I really don't need a front grip. You can easily play this with a 45 round and then the airborne elastic wrap to really have here absolute optimal damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, everything. And then you just beam away and clap jimmies. It doesn't look like a long range gun, but the mil spec is efficiently the best long range barrel. It kind of looks weird and it's super consistent and very hard hitting. But again, other guns do quite a little bit more damage than it. If you do stack your headshots though with this, if you're shooting head glitches, that is really good and performant. Then AK-47 Modern Warfare sniper support with a special fire rate magazine that gives you 22% more fire rate and makes the AK an absolute menace. We do play the Romanian barrel with a compensator. The gun does not move at all anymore. No stock for the absolute zooming and tac laser to just get the ADS time in like crazy. Here comes a problem though now. Obviously, if you can't get used to the ADS time, if you can't get used to the Einsight on the AK, which is quite atrocious, put this off, put a PBX7, put a GI mini reflex on, and you have a pinpoint precision monster beaming machine. Check this out, give this a go, watch the YouTube video of this, and you're gonna fall out of your chair seeing how powerful, dangerous, and menacing this gun can be. We have the Ram7 as long range. I wouldn't play it sniper support anymore. I told you many times the reason, because of the movement speed, and the Scar long range as can compete and off meta. The Ram long range is quite as the standard build with a cannon hybrid, 50 round mag command and foregrip Ranger monolithic suppressor. Why the cannon hybrid? First and foremost, it has some really good optics here, especially this one. This is the toggled one, and then you only have the T, and you can beam people left and right. The cannon hybrid has 14% vertical recoil and 25% horizontal recoil. As we know, the Ram7 bounces left and right really much, and you get a very good zoom within. So with the cannon hybrid, the gun is an even more pinpoint precision beamer than the VLK, but you will have to get used to the visual being increased. That might be that you need to move your mouse a little bit more because the more zoom, the more mouse pull down to recoil coefficient. The Scar looks quite similar. Interestingly enough, the 17.2 LB has the same stats almost as the 20 LB, but I have to say that with a 20 long barrel, the gun feels better. Same kind of goes for the PKM. The PKM barrel heavy to others have only a 3% recoil difference, but these 3% make the PKM feel night and day different. So with a 20 long barrel, it just feels way better. Then you put on the monolithic suppressor, you want to have the 30 round mag. There is the bipod foregrip. Bipod foregrip when you're crouched, insane recoil control, and especially when you're prone, even more pinpoint precision beaming. Then, since the gun has a lot of left and right bibbly bounce, you're gonna here go for the Candid Hybrid 2 to take care of that. And this is quite pinpoint precision beaming if you have a chance to crouch or prone. Then you're good off to go, and this is a menacing gun. Need to focus on the headshots though. For the viable, we have the Amax, VAL, M4, FFAR, and Groza. Groza sniper support is very simple. You put the mil-spec on, and that gets really nicely rid of the recoil worseness of the Groza. I'm playing the Groza also with the Groove suppressor here because the Groza has this weird behavior that you really want to clench down, and then it works fantastic. With a 45 round drum mag, Grew elastic wrap for super ADS times. And then the last is quite a question here. Could go for the Bruiser Grip for more movement speed, could go for the Tiger Team Spotlight for more movement speed, or just enhance your sprint to fire so you can sprint to fire better. And this is an absolute menacing gun against SMGs and against any kind of mid-range beaming ARs to then whip out your sniper rifle, Swiss K31, and send jimmies back to the lobby left and right. For the VAL, I've been trying long time around with a good build, and this is the final one I came up with. Again, solos the gun dominates. Trios, quads, you kind of need sleight of hand. We have managed this. We've built this maximum sprint to fire, so you're able to whoop this out extremely fast. We're not really going to hip fire this, but we wanted to have the sprint to fire speed, same as on the stipple grip tape with the bonus aim down side speed, 30 round mag. And then you also have the aim walk movement speed and aim down side speed with the skeleton stock. The recoil on the gun is non-existent, and if you play on controller, it feels even better. I would highly say this is super good in solos. Close up and personal, you just beam people if you can get used to the iron side. That's like kind of the downside because you can't afford to put a sight on this. You do need the attachment slots for other stuff. So get used to the iron side or don't play this gun. The M4A1 has a multitude of builds. You can just play it as a sniper support. You can play it as an SMG. You can build this as a long range beamer. I guess the standard one that people like the most is the sniper support one because it's still good, especially with the stipple grip tape. You have the Grenadier stock or Corvus Marksman for a little bit better ADS time with the monolithic suppressor, commander foregrip, and the 50 round mag. 60 round mag has a little bit worse stats than the 50 round mag, but it's still an all-time good gun, especially with the XRK blueprint. You have this huge iron sight that even like someone that's blind can use pretty much. Quite good, quite crazy, and I guess one of the guns that has always been good in the game. As we said, the FFAR is able to be played as a long-range beaming gun. I wouldn't play it as sniper support anymore. The problem will be that the gun is going to have a very low ADS time because you kind of have to shut everything on to control it, plus then the 50 round mag. And yeah, you do ADS in significantly low, but it does work. So if you want to have some fun, if you want to give this a go, it is quite fun, especially with the fire rate, learning to control the fire rate and then having this laser beam that goes out. Super cool. On 50 meters, people just vanish and they're like, what? On 100 meters, you can still do it. On 150 meters, don't try. The fire rate is going to ruin your life. As I said, I wouldn't play the AMH long range anymore because there makes no sense to play the AMH long range. As sniper support, you can still go with it. And as sniper support, I've always liked it because it's quite crazy good how much damage it does. With the PBX7 hollow side, you go for the Zodiac barrel, obviously. We put on the monolithic suppressor. There's a commander foregrip. As sniper support, I would actually not play munitions or even the commander foregrip. Both can be left away. So you can go for a tac laser here. Then you could go for the exo stock for more ADS speed. You do have enough bullets with 30 to kill because you have a very low bullets to kill. And then you have a very good ADS time. You don't need the bonus underbarrel, which actually gives you also minus in movement speed because you're already close up and personal beaming. And you feel quite nice with this. And it's surprising how good it still can be as a sniper support gun. Still, though, the Cold War sniper support guns, they just move faster and are just a little bit more precise and easier to beam. The memes niche tier is asking for the FAL, that is Monolithic Marksman Ranger Candid Hybrid and the Forge Tag Stalker stock. Why the Forge Tag Stalker stock? It gives you aiming stability. The Candid Hybrid has a little bit of idle sway. And also when you're shooting this, it just feels better. Aiming stability is still really crazy to quantify, but you should give this a try. With the Forge Tag Stalker, it just makes it feel so much better, especially over the tag laser, because having this green tag laser throws you off Quite pinpoint precision beamer. Check out the YouTube video to this one to see how menacing we can be with this, and you can be menacing with this too, but you really got to have a fast clicker finger, because obviously using a mouse macro or mouse with shooting for this is kind of cheating, so don't do that. Don't use macros. Macros are for losers. Then if we are looking at the Oden maximum bullet velocity, the gun has the bullet velocity 1,500 or something like that. First damage fall off after 80 meters. An absolute menacing gun that can really hurt people. Commander foregrip for the people that can control the recoil. Ranger foregrip for the people that can't. Tag laser for a little bit faster ADS time. And here also the candid hybrid for the bonus magnification to really be close up and personal on target. It is a meme niche tier. It is absolutely top tier viable in every single meta. It can compete with every single meta. It can hurt every single gun. You can outgun everyone, especially in the 30, 40, 50, 60 meter ranges. But you really got to get used to it, and it falls off harshly. If you don't hit a single shot, your time to kill just goes away. If you hit your 5 shots in a row, people just vaporize. Ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with my tier list that we made? Do you agree with the tiers that we put down? Do you like what you see here? Would you do things different? I will put this template out so you can make your own tier list with the assault rifles. And yes, we'll also have follow-up videos on the SMGs and the LMGs and all the other guns to kind of check out what is there to come, what you should be playing. I didn't want to put it all in one video because it would have been kind of too much. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for supporting so much. I hope you did enjoy it, and this gave you a clearer picture of actually what to play in the current meta, what is kind of top tier, what can still be played, which Modern Warfare guns are viable. Thank you just for supporting me, watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also enjoy the gameplay with the Milano 3 times. That's coming in the next couple of days too. See you soon in Verdansk and in the next video.